Welcome to the Blockchain Hustle, where I take a look at some interesting plays of how blockchain technology is opening up new business vistas across multiple industries. Hi, everyone. This is your host, Meenu Serene, with another episode of the podcast, Blockchain Hustle. We've been talking about NFTs, the non fungible tokens. And over the previous episodes, we have shared about what is an NFT. So we covered about what is a token and what is the non-fungibility part of the token. We also spoke about what are some of the value levels and what are some of the considerations that one needs to keep in mind before one decides to mint an NFT. And then we also spoke about the minting of the NFT, buying and selling of NFTs. But there is one main question which is looming in the background, which I personally think is pretty important and it's quite an interesting one. And that is, where is your NFT stored? Now, many of us would think that because an NFT is basically a blockchain token, so the NFT would be available, would be hosted or recorded onto the blockchain. And it is just like your crypto tokens, like your Bitcoin. So we have that the decentralized entities, they are stored on a decentralized medium in a decentralized way. And that works perfectly well for small files. So like your NFT is a token and it is available at a certain blockchain address. And just like when you are transferring your tokens, let's say a Bitcoin from one address, one blockchain address to another blockchain address, the ownership of that Bitcoin changes, right? Now, similarly, when you have the NFT, because it's a blockchain token, when you are transferring an NFT from one blockchain to another blockchain address, then you are transferring the ownership of that NFT. But as I said, this is perfectly good for the small files. But what happens when we are talking about the larger files? Because you see, most of your art pieces, like your videos, the images, the data heavy ones, they are pretty big files. So when we talk about this, then the question comes that is blockchain something which is recommended for those files? Because you see, blockchain is not recommended for data storage. It's just way too expensive because blockchain was never devised to have a data storage. It was more for the transactions. So the data storage is very expensive. And if you were to store these large NFT files on your blockchain, it's going to cost you quite a lot. So the question comes that if the NFT is not hosted on your blockchain, if that NFT is not available on your blockchain, then where is it? So at a very basic level, I would say that your NFT artwork, your video clip, your sound, the song, the music, etc., whatever, that NFT artwork or NFT content, it is hosted somewhere on the web. And what the blockchain contains is a pointer to that address on the web. That is where the NFT content is hosted. And the token, it just refers to the file sitting somewhere on the web. But then a very pertinent question would come when you talk about that NFT is somewhere on the web. We say, how do you check the reliability of your NFT content or the storage? Like, what happens if that website which is hosting your NFT, what if it goes offline? Or if that company which is hosting it just goes bust? What happens if your NFT goes offline? So here we are referring not just to the safety and the security of your NFT. We are talking something about the persistence of your NFT. So when we talk about persistence, like when you buy an NFT, the token is pointing to the address where the content file is hosted on the web, as I just mentioned. But the point out here is that it is basically telling you where is your NFT content at the time that it was minted. There is not much on data persistence. So when you buy an NFT asset, would you be able to assess or verify its persistence? That is, when I'm saying persistence, it means will that NFT content continue to exist over a period of time on that address? A time which is not constrained by the creator of that NFT. And usually, or typically, I would say that the marketplaces where you are trading your NFTs, they do not have much on your storage method of the NFT. So some of the questions that could arise when we're talking about the persistence of an NFT is, number one, will my NFT content continue to exist over time? Or is it something which would lapse? Is it time bound? Then the question comes that, can the creator of that NFT revoke the buyer's right to the content? And then most important, the thing is that whose responsibility is it? Whose responsibility is it to store your NFT? Does that responsibility lie with the creator of the NFT? Does that responsibility lie with somebody else, the buyer? Because if you look at the analogy of your NFT and, let's say, a painting, when you purchase a painting, the cost of storage of that painting, the care of that painting, everything goes to the buyer, right? The gallery would hold custody, but it would be doing it at a certain cost. So it's just like that for the NFT. So the point comes that whose responsibility is it, the NFT storage? And another point is on the NFT's provenance. So let's say if you are interested, as a buyer, the NFT content creator, he can give his server on which the NFT content is hosted, he can turn it over to you. But then that gives a kind of a provenance problem later on when you're tracking as to the ownership of the NFT, how many hands it has been exchanged with. So there comes a provenance problem on that. So these are a few things which come into play when we are talking about the storage of an NFT. And to handle this, and these all come because we are talking about NFT being stored in some centralized place. Somebody is storing it and it's a centralized server, for example. So in light of all this, what we are seeing in the market is a trend, which is moving the NFT storage from the centralized storage to a decentralized storage. And there are a lot of solutions of this decentralized storage coming out in the market. And some of them are like IPFS, which is the Interplanetary File System. There's another called Storj, STORJ. And then there is Arweave and Filecoin. And that itself is a very interesting topic, but I would like to talk about that, especially about the IPFS in my next episode. So I hope this has been informative and I have been able to shed some light on this important aspect of the NFT, that is, where is your NFT stored? So thank you for listening and stay safe. I look forward to having you in my next episode. Till then, cheers. You've been listening to the Blockchain Hustle. Did you enjoy this podcast? If so, please do leave a short review, like it, share it, download it, subscribe to it. What should I talk about next? Please do let me know your suggestions by writing to me at meenu@vlsiconsultancy.com or through any of the other contact channels as shared in the episode notes. Thanks.